Picture this. You finally drive into the office, fight traffic, find parking, walk to your floor, and then you look around to find half the desks empty. Your teammates are all working from home today, and nobody told you. That frustration is exactly what Microsoft Places solves. It connects your calendar to your actual office building, so you finally know who's coming in. Without it, research shows the coordination tax, the time you spend just figuring out who's showing up and where to sit, costs about 30 minutes per day. That's 2.5 hours a week just guessing. So let's dive in. We'll break down the 4 parts of Places and show you how they work together. By the end, you'll know exactly what this tool does and whether it's worth turning on at your company. The hybrid work problem, why you need Places. Let's start with the problem, because hybrid work created a new headache that nobody really planned for. Think about how you coordinate office days today. Maybe you send a Slack message, start an email poll, or just show up hoping someone else is there. It's messy, it's inefficient, and it relies on everyone remembering to update their status. Microsoft's own research confirms this. 48% of employees want more flexible schedules, but 43% feel disconnected from their company. Those two things are in direct conflict. People want flexibility, but they also want connection. The current way of doing hybrid work, hoping you overlap with your team, doesn't deliver either one well. Here's the thing. The problem isn't the office itself. It's not that offices are bad. It's that you have no information about who's coming in and when. You're flying blind, not knowing if Tuesday is the day your whole team shows up or if it's a ghost town. So Microsoft looked at this and thought, what if we built a solution that lives inside the tools you already use? Not a separate app you have to remember to open, not another login, but something that sits right inside Outlook and Teams, where you already spend your day. That's Microsoft Places. What Places actually is, a clear definition. So what exactly is Microsoft Places? Let's get that clear. First, it's not a separate app you install. You don't go to a website, create an account, or learn a new interface. Places lives inside Outlook and Teams, showing up in your calendar and your chat. It's woven into the tools you already use every day. Think of it as a digital reception desk for your office building. You know how a receptionist knows who's in the building, which rooms are booked, and where people are sitting. Places does that for your entire organization, and it does it automatically. Here are the core components. First, the Places directory. That's the database that knows your buildings, floors, and desks. It's the map of your physical office. Then there are work plans, letting you tell people which days you plan to come in. Then booking, reserving a specific desk or room. Then check-in, confirming you actually showed up. And finally, analytics, showing your facilities team which spaces are actually being used. The key insight is this. Places connects your team's calendar data, who's coming in, what meetings they have, with physical space data, which desks and rooms are free. It's the bridge between your digital schedule and your physical building. Now, let's start with the first feature you'll actually use because that's where the real value begins. Setting your work plan, telling people when you're in. Here's the first feature you'll actually use, and it's surprisingly simple. It's called a work plan. A work plan is just a way to tell your colleagues, hey, I plan to be in the office on these days. You set it up once, and it repeats every week. One click, and you're done. You say, I'm in office Tuesdays and Thursdays, building 3. That's it. Once you set it, little icons appear in your calendar and your teammates can see them. When they're planning their week, they see you're coming in on Thursday, so maybe they decide to come in too. Suddenly, you've got a real in-office day without a single Slack message or email poll. Now, I want to be clear about something important. This is completely optional. Microsoft does not force you to share your location. You opt in and you decide whether your work plan is visible to your organization. There's no way for an admin to turn this on for everyone. It's your choice, and that's by design. The whole point is to help you coordinate, not to track you. So you've set your work plan and told people you're coming in on Thursday. Now you need a place to sit, because showing up and hunting for an empty desk is almost as bad as showing up to an empty office. Desk booking, reserve your spot. Places really shines when it comes to booking a specific desk, not just checking in. In most companies today, desk booking works one of 3 ways. First come, first served. Hot desking where you grab whatever's open. Or you just sit in the same spot every time and hope nobody takes it. None of these are great. Places gives you a map-based interface. When you open it, you see the floor plan of your building with every desk marked. Green means available, gray means taken. You can even see who's sitting where. If your colleague Sally is at desk 7, her name and photo show up on the map. It's like having a visual directory of your entire office. You can zoom in and out, check different floors, and see which amenities are nearby. Now here's where the AI kicks in. Places looks at your Microsoft Graph data, who you collaborate with most, who you email, who you meet with, and recommends a desk near those people. It even checks your calendar to see who you're meeting with that day. So if you work closely with Sally and she's coming in on Thursday, Places might say, but hey, there's a desk open right next to her. One click and you're booked. Places doesn't just show you where desks are, it helps you sit near the people you work with most. You can also filter by features. Need an accessible desk, a quiet zone, a desk near a window? Just filter for those. And instead of repeating the process every morning, you can book multiple days at once. Here's a smart feature. If you book a desk but don't show up, Places automatically releases it after a set time. And that means someone else can grab it. No more reserved but empty desks wasting space. But desks aren't the only spaces you need. Sometimes you need a room for a meeting, and that's where the next piece comes in. Room booking. Find the right meeting space. You might think booking a meeting room is straightforward. Open Outlook, click the room field, pick from a list, but that list is just names. Conference room A, meeting room 3. You have no idea what that room actually looks like. Is it big enough for your team? Does it have a screen? Is it near your desk or on the other side of the building? The Places Finder fixes that. Instead of a plain text list, you get photos of each room. You see the actual space, the capacity, the equipment, and where it sits on the floor plan. The photos are real, not stock images, so you know exactly what you're getting. You can see if the room has a whiteboard, a large screen, or even a window. You can filter by floor, by size, by what technology is in the room. So when you're booking a meeting, you're not guessing, you're choosing. And if you have Copilot, it gets even smoother. Just say, book a room for my 4-person team meeting, and Copilot picks the best one. It looks at how many people are attending, checks which rooms are available, and even considers where those attendees are sitting in the building. If most of your team is on the 3rd floor, it'll find a room near them. No more scrolling through lists or playing scheduled Tetris. Copilot acts like a personal assistant who knows the building layout. It can even suggest a room based on the type of meeting, like a brainstorming session or a client presentation, so you can see which rooms are near your desk. You can see who else is in the building. You're not just booking a room, you're booking the right room, in the right place, for the right people. But booking is only half the story. The real magic is knowing who's actually there, nearby, and check in, finding people in the building. Here's the thing about work plans and desk bookings. They tell you what people intend to do. But intentions don't always match reality. Someone says they're coming in on Thursday, but their kid gets sick. Or they decide to work from home that morning. Your work plan says they're in, but they're not. That's where check-in comes in. Places can detect when you actually arrive at the office, and it happens automatically. When you plug your laptop into a monitor at your desk, it knows you're there. When you connect to the corporate Wi-Fi, it knows you're in the building. No scanning a QR code, no tapping a badge. It just works. Once you're checked in, your colleagues can see you. In Teams, a green dot appears on your profile letting people know you're physically in the office, not just online. And there's a feature called Nearby that makes this even more useful. In any Teams chat, you can type #nearby, and it shows who else in that chat is in the same building right now. It's a quick way to spot, hey, Sarah's here too, let's grab coffee. You can also search for someone on the floor map. Say you want to sit near your teammate Matteo. You type his name and Places shows you exactly where he is. One click and you can book a desk right next to him. And again, privacy is built in. You decide if your presence is visible. Nobody can see where you are unless you opt in. It's your choice. All this data, who's coming in, who's checked in, which spaces are used, is useful for more than just finding people. It helps make smarter decisions about the office itself. Analytics and admin, making smarter office decisions. Now, everything we've talked about so far helps you as an employee. But Places also gives your facilities team something they've never had before, actual data about how the office is being used. Here's the thing. Most companies have no idea how much of their office space is actually being used. They know how many desks they have, they know how many people are employed, but they don't know if those desks are sitting empty half the week. That's expensive. Real estate is one of the biggest costs a company has, and without data, you're just guessing. Places gives facilities teams reports on desk and room utilization. They can see which floors are busy and which are empty. They can see which rooms get booked but never used. And here's the key metric, the difference between booked and actually used. A desk can be reserved but stay empty all day. That's a wasted reservation. Places shows you that gap. That's where auto-release policies come in. If someone books a desk but doesn't check in within a certain time, say 30 minutes, Places automatically releases it. Someone else can grab it. No more walking past rows of empty desks that all say reserved. The system frees up wasted space without anyone having to think about it. On the admin side, Microsoft also built a proper management portal. Before, if you needed to add a building or change a floor plan, you had to use PowerShell scripts. It was technical, slow, and required specific IT skills. Now there's a web portal where you can manage buildings, floors, and desks directly. You can take a desk offline for maintenance. You can assign permanent seats. You can set booking policies. It's all in one place. And it's designed for facilities teams, not just IT admins. And that's where the most powerful part comes in. Because when you connect all this data, work plans, check-ins, booking, utilization, you get something much bigger than a booking tool. How it all connects, the AI-powered workplace. When you step back and look at the big picture, Places isn't just a collection of features. It's a data layer that feeds directly into Copilot and the Microsoft Graph. Think about what that means for a moment. Copilot already knows your calendar, your meetings, and who you work with. Now, with Places, it also knows your physical office, which building you're in, which desk you're at, which rooms are available, and it can use all that information to help you make better decisions. You can ask Copilot, which days should I come in this week to maximize collaboration? It will look at your team's work plans, check who's checked in, and give you an answer. Tuesday looks best. 4 of your 5 teammates are in the office that day. That's not guessing. That's real data from Places. The integration also extends to Teams rooms. If your company has meeting rooms with Teams room systems, they connect directly to Places. When you book a room, the system knows its capabilities, whether it has a camera, a whiteboard, a large screen, and it can recommend the right room for the right meeting automatically. Here's the thing, Places is not a booking tool, it's a coordination platform. It connects your calendar, your building, and your colleagues into one system. It tells you when to come in, where to sit, who's nearby, and whether that space is worth keeping. That's fundamentally different from just reserving a desk. So what should you do with this information? Places solves the where is everyone problem by connecting your calendar, your office space, and your people into one system. If your company uses Microsoft 365, check if Places is already enabled. Start with a work plan. Just set your recurring days and see who else is coming in. That single step changes how your office works. I'm Mirko Peters from M365 FM. If this knowledge nugget helped, subscribe on your favorite podcast platform and share it with your facilities team. They need to know about this.